Listen, y'all, I gotta say this. I don't know where you are in life right now when it comes to, look, wherever you are, okay? I'll say this one thing. You just never know when your life is gonna change. You just never know. Hang on. You just never know. You got to truly expect the unexpected, because I mean, there's a lot of people in this world, they're going through hard times. Me myself going through a lot of hard times, and that sometimes those hard times start to convince you that nothing is ever gonna, you get these doubts that start flowing through your mind, right? And then you make that one decision. You make that one decision that could alter the course of so many things. And it's like we have all this time on our hands, and we spend so much of it worrying and fretting about, oh man, like you get, especially if you're someone like me who's, and even if you're not doing it alone, and let me say this, if you are doing it alone, you need to understand that you can't do everything alone, okay? You really can't. And there are communities out there that you can get into that can help you. You don't have to do it alone. But you see, I came from a very narcissistic, abusive household that it trained me. And the people, those narcissists, they're not going to understand. They're not going to get this. But due to the way they treated me, I grew this mindset that I have to do everything alone. And I've been trying to do it alone for the past 4 years now, just alone. And not to say that you can't get anywhere if it's just you and God, not to say that, but you do come into certain situations where you're gonna need at least another person there. And that other person cannot be some worldly person. It has to be, if you're truly trying to go with God, it has to be someone who understands the path. Because I was reminded today, after tormenting myself mentally for the past week now because of a decision I've made, I got a quick reality check from someone who's on the same path as me. And he confirmed to me it's not going to be easy. And even in the Bible, it says it's not going to be easy. It's going to be hard. It's going to be a hard road, a hard path. And it's why not many people go down it. Because if you want to self-improve, if you want to become the person that God has intended you to be, it's going to take a lot of hard things to go through. And sometimes you may take some crazy losses. Like me, I've taken some crazy losses, especially within the past year. I would say that within this past year, I've taken more losses than I've ever taken in my whole life. With just within this past year, I've taken more losses within this past year than I have my whole life, man. Like, I've taken some heavy losses before that, but these losses I'm talking about getting screwed over with lemon cars. And paying in full, and you end up getting screwed over with these lemon cars because you don't have nobody. You don't have nobody. It's just you. And it's just only what you know about cars. And you're going based off of that alone. That's it. That's all you're going based off of. So you end up with a lemon car. You find out there's some. Oh yeah, the engine was the things that I knew to check were good, right? But then there were other things that I didn't that would have never even crossed my mind to check. That turned out to be something. That turned out to be a big problem. You know? Oh man, I definitely need the floss. I need to get me some floss. Dude, I'm telling y'all. Whoo! This past year has been one heck of a year, man. One heck of a year. And here I am right now, recording this in another beater. Because I'm in another car that it's got some issues, but it's not like I didn't know this time. I knew they had these issues, but I picked it because I took it because I figured it would help with a particular situation I've been dealing with that I need to get out of. Like this house that I've been trying so hard to get out of. I gotta get out of that house, man. I have to get out of that house. I'm surrounded by so-called family members who kept each other down, right? So they never went nowhere. And they think they're going to do that to me. I'm starting to realize I am the direct opposite of what they are. The direct opposite. Like we're not, it's not one of those situations where you got your agreements and your disagreements or whatever. No, just disagree throughout all 9 yards. We just don't agree on nothing. And that's why I got to get out of there. So, what was I going to do? Stay stuck there, and they're over here draining me of my energy and all this other stuff. And that's the thing. You got to be careful when you're around people who drain you of your energy. Because when you're around people who drain you of your energy, what they're doing is they're taking your energy, and then it's like they're giving you theirs. And it's like, you don't want to be like them, right? So you don't want their energy either. You don't want their energy. So what was I going to do? Especially if I only had so much money and I knew that I needed a vehicle, but at the same time, I needed to save majority of what I had. You know what I mean? Imagine looking for a car, but instinctively that it would not be wise to spend majority of what you have on a car and then save a little bit and then try to make it up. Nah, I can't do that right now. So I went the opposite route. I bought a beater, a real beaten ass fucking... Oh, I didn't mean to curse. A real beaten freaking car, and was able to save a good chunk of my money at least. I was able to save a good chunk of it. And I can't touch it right now. I just can't. So now I got this and that, and I got to try to make do with what I got. Got to just make do. But you know what? Let me get back to the point I've been trying to make, because I don't want to start because this is the problem. This is an issue that I have. I'll start thinking about my circumstances, and then it'll drown me in this pit of worry and anxiousness. I can't be in that right now. So I end up drowning myself in this pit of anxiousness. And I end up having night sweats, and I end up freaking myself out and all this other mess. And then before you know it, the next day you go to church, and I'm telling you, I highly recommend that each and every one of you out there who is going down this path where you're following God and you're trying to do the right thing and all this other stuff, I'm telling you, your best bet, the best thing you can do is get involved with a church. That is the best thing you can do. I'm telling you, you got to get involved with a church, get involved with some positive people, man. Especially if you've been in an environment that's just been real toxic and negative, especially if you're in an environment like that. Man, I was at the mall not too long ago before I made this, and that's another thing about me is that I tend to make life-changing decisions like it's nothing. And that's not, like, that could be a good thing, but at the same time that could be a bad thing, because I do it sometimes, bro. I'll just jump into something and then I get mad when it doesn't work out. And you know what? You want to know something? I'm recognizing everywhere I go, people are noticing me. Like, people are looking at me and it's like they could see something in me, right? Something that I'm having a hard time seeing myself, and I want to see it. I'm telling you, I want to see it the way they see it. Whatever people are seeing in me, I want to see it the way other people are seeing it. I really do. I really do. Freaking 218,000 miles on it. 218,000 miles. And this is what I settled for. A beater. But yeah, y'all, listen, before any of you allow yourselves to end up drowning in some kind of worry, just keep in mind that your situation can change in a blink of an eye. I'm telling you. I'm telling you right now, it really, really, really can. And it could change in all kinds of different little ways that end up creating this big picture, right? But it's gonna come one step at a time. God will not bless you with one huge thing at one time. He doesn't do that, because there's lessons that you need to learn along the way so that you are responsible enough to handle such a blessing. Imagine giving somebody who's like, imagine somebody straight out of high school, they don't know nothing about life, right? You just give them $2 million straight out of high school. Like, do you think that that person is going to be as responsible with that money as someone who's like in their 30s or in their 40s, who've been through things and all that other mess? No. They're going to be blowing that money. They're going to lose it they're going to lose that money fast if they don't know what they're doing. You see what I'm saying? This is why God will not bless you with, like, he's not going to bless you with one big thing, like at one time. Like, everybody's waiting for like that one big thing to happen in their life, and it's not how it happens. It literally, that one big thing that you're waiting on, it's going to happen when you take the steps to that goal you have. When you take those steps to that goal you have, you take it one step at a time. And that's literally all you can do to get there, because along the way, as you take it one step at a time to that goal, you're learning along the way, so that by the time you get there, you know how to be, you know how to handle it. You see what I'm saying? But some people, they don't want to listen, bro. Somebody just walked right by me while I was talking, because I have the window down. Some people are not gonna want to hear that. Some people can't accept. Hang on. Some people can't accept hearing the truth for what it is. Some people just can't. And that is going to be their biggest setback. There's no greater setback than not being able to accept the truth for what it is, right? No matter how hurtful it might be, or no matter how difficult it might be to accept. If you can't come to terms with reality, and you're constantly telling yourself a lie to make yourself feel comfortable or better, that in itself is the greatest setback that somebody can have. Right there is the fact that they can't accept the truth. That will set you back milestones. You'll never get ahead like that, ever. You got to be willing to accept the truth for what it is, no matter how ugly it is, and no matter how much you hate it. You might hate the truth right now, but you have to accept it. And I'll tell you something else. The more you lie to yourself, the more the literally the farther you're going to get to the truth, literally. Because when you lie to yourself, it's like taking the truth and putting one layer after the other, right? And if you got like 50 layers, you can't take all 50 off at once. You just can't. You gotta go one layer at a time, unlearning a bunch of crap that you taught yourself that wasn't even true. Unlearning things one step at a time. And before you know it, you go step by step. Everything is step by step. Everything. Nothing is gonna come to you just one big heaping boom. You know, unless you like it's not like winning the lottery. Like most of the majority of the time when God is taking you through your journey, it's not going to be like winning the lottery. It's not going to be, and I used to think that. I used to think, oh, well, you know, I'm going to go through some hard times and then one of these days, boom, that's my breakthrough. You know, I'm going to get like mad freaking bread one of these days. That was always one of my hopes. But I'm coming to terms with the fact that just might not be the case. That's just might not be how it's going to play out. And the best thing you can do, y'all, if you're trying to get ahead, the best thing you can do is get involved with as many people as you can. Know people. You gotta know people to know people. You feel me? You gotta know. The more people you know, the more people you'll know. That's why, like, for the past couple years, I've been doing it alone. And don't get me wrong, when you're doing it alone, you'll learn a lot along the way. You'll learn a lot. But another thing you're going to learn is that you can't do it all alone. That's another thing you're going to learn. Right? But you can't just rely on anybody. You know, like these toxic family members, they think that just if they leave me alone, that I'm not going to be able to get ahead. No. I had to unlearn that I don't need them at all. And look at me now, man. Look at me. In a position where I feel completely stuck, and I feel like God has brought the right people into my life so that I can actually grow. All right, y'all. So I'm gonna let you go. That's the video for today. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. God bless you all.